Well, good day and welcome. I'm so glad to have with you today a guest speaker on real world leadership. And we're so glad you chose to join us today to speak about leading and living our best life. I'm Susan Johnson. I'm with Truth Enterprise Partners, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to Real World Leadership. And today our topic is passion. Our topic is passion today. So a little bit about me. I work with a team of folks at Truth Enterprise Partners who are leaders that are inspired to create a world where diversity and authenticity are valued. That's what we envision our world to be as it relates to leading and living our best life. Our mission and what we get out of bed for every day is really to help bring the potential out of every individual that we tend to work with, whether that be a leader or individual. And we'd love to bring out the true potential in you as well. We help people discover their true potential. It's what we do. And it's all about truth and what's important to you. You can find more about us at truthenterprisepartners.com. And again, joining us today, we have a guest speaker, a dear friend, a former colleague in Lincoln Corcoran, who is the author of the book With Passion. And to introduce you to Lincoln, we're going to do a quick little icebreaker. But first, Lincoln and I share a similar mission. I talked about bringing out the true potential in leaders and in people. And Lincoln's mission is really kind of similar to that. And his mission is bringing out the best in terms of what people were designed to be, and to do that with passion. So Lincoln, you'll give us an opportunity to talk a little bit more about that. You also call yourself a servant leader, learnovator, peopleist. We're curious about what those things mean to you. Certainly you're a believer and an inspirational speaker. I know that to be true. And an author of this book With Passion. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then most recently, you were received a recognition from LinkedIn, where you're the top 1% of people endorsed for leadership. So that's quite the accomplishment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So Lincoln, share with us a little bit about what you mean when you say learnovator, peopleist. What does that mean?
Well, peopleist, everything we do has to do with people. You know, everything that we do has to do with people.
Okay.
And our education system focus on curriculum, and very little, if any, is about people skills.
Okay.
Very little, if any, is about people skills. I mean,
so as a peopleist, that means you have a knack or a mastery of people. Would that be true?
Well, I wouldn't say a mastery. I say I'm on my way. It's a journey. But,
absolutely.
You know, I mean, people is what it's all about.
It's about the people.
Family, community, we have societies. They're made up of people, organizations. Think about what an organization would be if there were no people. You know, think about a church, what that would be if there were no people, kind of deal, or no neighbors. And it's all about people.
Right. And I certainly see that with you and how you connect with people, for sure. And I certainly see how you would describe yourself in that way. So tell me about learnovator. What do you mean, learnovator?
Okay. I'm in the education business. I've been, my first job was a school teacher. And, you know, I've been called a trainer, you know, management development trainer. But what's the purpose? If no learning is taking place, no training is taking place. Mm-hmm. So my role is to inspire people to be open to learning. It's a process. It's a process. So I got to set them up. This is a learning opportunity. Mm-hmm. You know, and in fact, one of my opening slides is you're going to learn three main things today. You're going to learn that what you're already doing is the right thing to do, that you need to continue doing those things. Then you might learn a couple of things that mistakes you make and think that, oh no, I need to stop doing these things. And then you might get a couple of new ideas. I need to start doing these things. Okay. And It's a process. It's
Mhm.
not an event. Too many people say, okay, we had a training seminar. Now they should learn it. Oh, yeah. You need
So
follow-up.
as
You
a
need
learnovator,
follow-through.
you're really opening up the world of the possibilities of learning. That's what I'm taking away from what you're sharing here. And what do you need
Exactly.
to start doing? What do you need to continue doing? What do you need to stop doing?
And
Right?
it's an ongoing process. Any living
Yes.
organism, I like to tell people, any living organism that stops growing, stops learning, begins to
Mhm.
die.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Very well stated. Very well put. And so glad that you're here to share your points of view as it relates to the characteristics of yourself. And when you talk about the topic of passion. So very excited to hear what you have to say. But first, I want to open up with a quick little icebreaker. So the folks listening can get a little more insight into you. So I have this deck of cards and I'm going to pull one for you. And then you can just answer the question and just share a little bit more about you. And I must share that these cards came from our place where I ordered these beautiful Pride mugs. You can see my Pride mug here. I've been waiting a long time for these. These are on back order. They're just beautiful. And I love my mug. I love my mug. And these cards came as a bonus. And I can see how I can use these cards in the work that I do as an executive coach and a developer of leader talent. So here's your card, Lincoln. And here's your question. Share your favorite food tradition.
My favorite food tradition.
Yeah.
Wow.
Favorite food tradition.
That's a loaded question. I love sushi.
Okay.
I love sushi, and I try to have sushi at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I have it with chopsticks.
And I can attest to that. We actually had lunch a little bit ago and ordered sushi.
Right, and I have it.
So once a week tradition of sushi with chopsticks.
With chopsticks, yes.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit more about you and your information for your website. People can certainly reach out to you at hispartners.com to find more about you. So, Lincoln, you're here to speak about the topic of passion. And it means so many different things to different people. In the work that I do, it certainly comes up a lot. It's often referred to as energy, a drive. That's how I hear it most. But I certainly do define that with people individually as I'm working with them as a coach. It might mean a strength, something that they love and they see that as a strength. But I'm curious about what you mean and what you meant when you wrote this book with passion. So tell me more.
Well, may I share with you when the seed was planted in my head?
Absolutely.
Because I know it was a Sunday, and I know it was 1995 because I had just moved to Houston, and it was the month of September, football season.
Okay.
And I was at a football game. The Houston Oilers were still playing in Houston, and they were playing the Miami Dolphins. And my team was the Miami Dolphins at the time. So I was supporting the Miami Dolphins, and they were winning. Dan Marino was still throwing the football, and they were winning in the third quarter. Susan, in the third quarter, they got a field goal. They faked the field goal and scored. And it was like rubbing salt in the Houston Oilers. And I was having such a great time. I was laughing. I was having applauding. And they were like, the stadium was full, 80,000 people in the stadium. And you could imagine the noise, and half of them were drunk and the other half were on their way to getting drunk, kind of deal. It was noisy. And then suddenly, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but suddenly I stopped hearing the external noises. And I'm hearing a voice in my head, and the voice knew my name, and the voice was talking to me, and the voice said to me, Lincoln, look at you, man. I haven't seen you so excited and enthusiastic and joyful in a long time. Come Monday morning. Where would all this enthusiasm and this joy go? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Lincoln, what if there was a way you can bottle how you're feeling right now and apply it to what you do every day? Susan,
interesting.
That 1995 September, it was a Sunday, I can't remember the exact date. That's when the seed was planted.
Mm.
It was not until 2001 that I took pen and paper and wrote this book about passion. And it just flowed. It was a gift. It was given to me because I've heard a lot of, as you said earlier, a lot of people talk about passion.
Yeah.
But I've never heard somebody define and clearly define what does it really mean. Is it just a sizzle? Is it just a feeling that comes and goes?
Right.
You know, kind of deal. What is it really? And this is what
came to you. This is what came to you.
And this came to me directly from the Lord.
Okay.
Pride. People who have a passion for what they do, they take pride in what they do. I'm not saying that they're proud of what they do, but they take pride in what they do. Meaning, how many times have you written something or done something and you look at it and you say, oh, that's not good enough. I can do better. You scramble it up and you do it over. That's the pride I'm talking about. The type of pride that at the end of the day, you can look back at your day and say, I did my best today. You know, like think about an artist. Think about an artist. They do not sign the bottom of their art until they're satisfied that this is their best piece of work. So I encourage people, don't sign your day off until you've done your best at the end of the day. That's the kind of pride I'm talking about. The A is attitude. You know, everything comes from is inspired by your thoughts. We don't have any control over what kind of thoughts come to us, negative thoughts, positive. What we do have control over is how we respond.
Yes, I agree.
How do we respond? Select the positive thoughts, recognize the negative thoughts, and delete them as early as you can. The earlier you delete those negative thoughts, the better for you. Because the moment we start thinking about it more and dwelling, we start believing in it, now we want to do it, and then we regret.
Okay.
The attitude. Look at what's happening in the world today with the COVID situation. Most people are looking at the negative part of it. I can't go to work. I can't go to the bar. I can't go to the playground. I got to wear masks. And they're complaining about that. But look at the positive.
Oh, okay.
Look at the positive. And I like to tell people, most people, their biggest monthly bill is their mortgage or their rent. Prior to COVID, how much waking hours did you spend in this place that you're spending so much money for? And were you enjoying it? Now you get to spend so much more time and appreciate all that you have and enjoy it. And you know, my mother told me, she told me a lot of good stuff. You never miss the water till the well run dry. And are we missing face-to-face time? So we can't wait for when that time comes back. I know we will appreciate it even more. Look for the silver lining. We find what we look for. Attitude. The S is special. People who have a passion for what they do, they go out of their way to make other people feel special. And you met those people. They just seem to know what you need even before you ask. Special. But before you can make somebody feel special, you got to know that you're special. Look at what the marketing people are doing to us. They're telling the girls to be special, you have to have a certain shape and a certain weight. And your hair has to be a certain color. And you got to wear a certain cologne. You know, and people are buying into this and it's not working. The guys, we are not getting away. They're telling us we have to have a six-pack. You know, and we got to be at least 6'2", and we got to be at an average weight and drink a certain brand of beer or drive a certain type of vehicle to be special. And people
your special means what, though? It differs from that.
That's where I'm going. To be special, what makes something special? It's unique, one of a kind. And you know what? There are only two reasons why we all should know, everyone should know that they're special, and it doesn't cost you a dime. In the beginning, there was nothing, and the Lord created this world. And he just said the word and everything came up. But when he was ready to make you and me, he got personally involved. And he created man and woman in his own image. The
Absolutely.
Almighty God in his own image. And guess what? If you Google the world's population today, I think it comes up to 7.9 billion people in the whole wide world. And I know that number is wrong because there are a couple million they haven't counted yet. And it's adding there. So we can round it up to 8 billion. And I can tell with confidence, every single person in this world, of the 8 billion people in the world, there is only one of you. There is only one Susan Johnson in this whole wide world. There is only one Lincoln Kokaram, and all you people who are listening, look in the mirror. There's only one of you. Now, doesn't that make you feel special? You're so unique, one
Absolutely.
of a kind. One
And
of a
that
kind.
really speaks to, authenticity, uniqueness, and being able to be yourself, because there is no one like you. Right.
Exactly.
So why try to be someone other than yourself? And,
Amen.
that gets to the heart of the matter when I talk to individuals about, leading and being able to be themselves and the work that they do. They should be bringing their whole selves to it. And we're creating an environment where that is valued. And that's the inspiration of why we're doing what we're doing. Absolutely. Yeah. Special is important. Uniqueness is key to that passion. Tell me more, Lincoln.
The S is service. People, the second S, people who have a passion for what they do not work. They serve.
Okay.
They serve, they see everything that they're doing as a service to their fellow man, and they're not selective as to who they're going to serve. Whoever needs the service, they provide.
Mm-hmm. So again, more about the mindset. When you talked about attitude, this is really around mindset, around your approach to what you're doing, whatever that is that you do, right?
Yeah, and Blanchard, they wrote a book on servant leadership. Leaders who see their role as, I'm here to serve my people. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ, the greatest leader that ever walked the land, what did he do? He washed the feet of his disciples. He fed the people. He served the people. And then the I is initiative and integrity. People have a passion for what they do. They don't have to be told. They see something that needs to be done. They do it. It does not even have to be their role. And you've heard people say the worst statement somebody can make in any organization, in any family, in any churches, that's not my job. I can do it, I'll do it. I can do it, I can do it, I will do it. And I'm known to be taking up paper in the parking lot in the supermarket. People who drop their empty cups. That's one of my pet peeves. They just open the car door and put it right down there. And this is my neighborhood, And then integrity. Susan, I've never met another human being who said to me, Lincoln, I don't have any integrity. Everybody claims to have integrity. But are they practicing integrity? I learned a simple definition of what integrity is all about from a guy named Alan Fine in his book, You Already Know How to Be Great. And he said, say, do, co. S-A-Y-D-O-C-O. Say, do, co. Say what you're going to do. Do what you said you were going to do and communicate when you can. If I will get a $5 bill for everybody who promised that they were going to call me or call me back, I would be a millionaire. Not exactly, but I'll be good. And say what you're going to do. Do what you said you were going to do and communicate when you can. And the best part of integrity is how you behave when nobody's looking, especially people who know you. Integrity. We need more people with integrity in our world today. Then ownership. Whose world is this? Whose world is it? Whose life are you living? Whose mind are you controlling? Take ownership. Too many people are giving ownership to other people. They're giving ownership to the politicians. They're giving ownership to people who don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I can get a sense of that. Comes up often in coaching calls and meetings that I have too, where, someone might have a behavior of blaming or victimization, but really focusing on, taking ownership for what it is that you control and controlling and becoming the ruler of your own destiny and taking ownership for your life as you design it. And it's not something, you're not living your circumstance, but you're designing the way you want it to be.
Own it. Own it. It's yours. Own it.
Own it. Absolutely.
And then the end is never give up. Look at what's happening in the world today. The divorce rate in this country is 39%. That's almost more than 3 out of every 10 marriages end up in divorce because people are giving up too early. The first obstacle, I'm out of here. This is not for me. This is not what I signed up for. Instead of working it out. You know, Wayne Gretzky said, I love this quote. I live by it. You only miss 100% of the shots you do not take. You know, and I like to tell people think about the caterpillar in its cocoon. What is he doing, or she? Pushing. And while he's pushing, he's growing and he's transforming. She doesn't even know what it's going to evolve into, but it never stopped. If it stopped, what happened? It will die in that cocoon. True. But it keep pushing, and then it breaks out into be a beautiful butterfly. Wow. You know, keep pushing, people. Don't give up. Keep swinging. Keep swinging. Yeah. Keep at it. Don't give up. Yeah, so that's what passion is all about. Okay. I do a workshop about it. The book is there. It's a quick read.
Yes, the book is there. The book is there. And also in the title of the book, you mentioned stop working and start performing. What do you mean by that, Lincoln? What do you mean?
Oh my goodness, Susan, we were told all our lives, you got to get a good education. And you got to work hard.
Got to work hard.
So when people hear the word work, the first thought that comes to my mind is hard. They associate work and hard.
Yes.
You know, and do I have to really do it kind of deal? Why do I have to do this? And they set the alarm, and then when the alarm goes off, they hit the snooze button because they don't want to go to work. You know, think about you driving down the street and they got these guys, these people with these bumper stickers. I owe, so off to work I go. You know, I'd rather be golfing, I'd rather be fishing kind of deal. If that's your mindset, how can you perform when you go to work? You're just checking in and checking out. You know, and there's
so many doing that right now.
Yeah, they're like clock watchers. You know, right. Life is a stage.
You know, and it's interesting you say that because, you know, I think right now in our time, people are really considering, you know, are they working? Are they enjoying the work that they do? They have the audacity to think they should enjoy work. And I always say that you should feel like you said, like the alarm goes off and you're ready to go perform because they're doing something that they love, or they're bringing that passion that you talk about to the work that they're doing. But I always talk about, you know, I have the audacity to think that work should be fun because I'm enjoying what I do, you know, well, but from a position where I'm not enjoying what I do, then it feels like work. But you can associate work with fun when you're performing and doing what you do with passion.
That's my message.
Yes.
Delete the word work from your mind and replace it with, this is my calling. This is my contribution to my community, my world. This is how I'm making a difference in this world.
So let's talk about calling for a minute, because you brought that up.
This is not work. Yeah.
Okay, so what if someone is not in their calling, and how does someone find their calling per se? I deal with this in the work that I do, but I'm curious how you approach this in the work that you do. You know, calling and passion can be synonymous. Some people think passion is a calling, you know. Well,
the passion is how you respond to your calling.
So the passion is the approach that you're taking toward what you're doing.
The how.
Got you. Yeah. So the passion is the how.
I can share with you how I discovered what my calling is.
Okay.
I did not set about to be an inspirational speaker. I did not plan I'm going to be an author one day kind of deal. In fact, in high school, when we had career day, and they asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I wanted to be, Susan? I was living in Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to be a Royal Air Force pilot.
Okay.
I wanted
That's a
to,
noble profession, an
I
Air Force
wanted,
pilot.
I wanted to fly fighter planes, and we was, Trinidad and Tobago was still a member of the British Commonwealth. When I graduated from high school, I had all the requirements to apply to be a cadet in the Royal Air Force. So I go to my mother and I said, Ma, this is what I want to do. She looked at me and she said, no, you're not going to be flying any warplanes. That's not what you're going to do. And in those days, you did what Mama said.
Right.
You know, you don't argue with Mama. So I applied for work because my mother was a single mother, and it's time for me to step up and contribute. I applied, I talked to my friends, who are you applying for? Where are you looking? And we put our applications in. I got a job with the government as a civil servant, as an administrative assistant, and it was the most boring thing I ever did. Kind of deal. All I had to do was, when the mail came in, open the mail, put it in the right folder, and distribute it. And so I did that in but the rest of the day, I'm doing nothing, just sitting down, kind of deal. It was the most boring thing. But I applied for teaching, just applied.
Okay.
And they called me in for an interview. And they assigned me, they gave me a job as an assistant school teacher at a school close to my home, Santa Flora Government School. And I went. My mother was a teacher. My older brother was a teacher. So I went. And you know what I found out, Susan?
What's that?
I loved it.
So you found your calling in teaching and education.
You see, the thing about it is a calling. It's calling you. And I believe it's the Holy Spirit. He designed you and me, and he knows why he designed us, how he designed us, what's the best thing for us. And Proverbs 3:5-6, in his heart a man makes his plans, but the Lord guides his footsteps. I'm here to tell you, he guided me into that role. I went to that role as a 18-year-old, going on 19-year-old. I was teaching 13, 14-year-old kids. I was the cricket coach. I was the soccer coach. I was the drama coach. It was like my second home, and I was loving it. I was loving it, and I got blessed because the teacher they assigned me to work with, Miss Miriam Batiste, was like my bigger sister. She taught me so much. The principal, Mr. Lloyd Gervais, the other teacher said, well, he treats you like your son. He gave me responsibility, and I owned it. At that time, I didn't know about passion at that, but I was living it. Even at that
you were living it even at that time. And it's interesting too, because when you know. I have a similar story, where I got into studying organizational development and leadership development. I remember having a moment where I said to myself, I've arrived. And I was thinking, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And so I think, when you find it, you'll know. And if people don't find it, there's ways and we can help you kind of uncover it. I know we help leaders and individuals discover their true potential, and we have some exercises that can help them get there, and it'll resonate with them when they know truly what it is, and then they start to walk in that way. So very, very cool. Thank you for sharing that story.
And you know how it's not work. It's not work. You don't get tired. You look forward to doing it, and it doesn't matter whether people appreciate it or not. You just planting the seeds. You just doing your role. I will never forget that day.
You get joy from it. You love it. It's that joy you get.
It's a inner joy.
Yeah, it is. It's internal joy, and it might express itself outwardly, Susan, too. And sharing and talking about it, and just being happy.
I'll never forget that day. I was sitting in my car getting ready to leave the school to go off to college. And that was like 1973. I was about 26 years old, and this 15-year-old girl comes to my door and said, "Bye-bye, Daddy." I mean, no amount of money can compensate. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Every time I think it brings me a sense of joy, a sense of peace, a sense of accomplishment, that one girl can come to me and call me Daddy. That's the satisfaction we get when we find our calling, or calling finds us, and we are obedient to the calling.
Right, absolutely. That can certainly happen when you
Yeah.
discover what you're called to do.
And
So
so
Lincoln,
the first thing, Susan, you love it, it's no work, and then other people tell you you're good at it.
absolutely.
That's why we get feedback. Other people tell you you're good at it.
Yeah, something you love
Yeah.
and something that you're good at. Absolutely.
It's confirmed, yes.
So Marcus Buckingham talks about that being a strength, something that you love doing and that you're good at. So those are strengths which could lead, to the work that you might do that's part of your calling. So
yes.
Good stuff, Lincoln. Thank you for those stories. I appreciate you giving us a little bit of insight into your book with passion. And it's the how. It's really not the what, right? It's the how you go about performing at your best, right? So
Definitely.
How can people, you said you did some workshops and you do workshops regularly. I've attended a couple myself. How can people get a list or connect into your workshops? Are they listed on your website at hispartners.com?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes, they are. And I customize everything I do to the needs of the client. Yes.
Okay. Well, very good. It was so nice to see you and to talk with you today. I appreciate you taking some time to talk with us. And if you find yourself in a place where you are a little off center or you're devoid of passion and how to go about doing some different things in your life, you can certainly reach out to Lincoln and I. We'd be happy to learn more about what it is that you're encountering and to see if we can help and how. You'll see our contact numbers listed here on the screen, as well as our websites, truthenterprisepartners.com for me and hispartners.com for Lincoln. And again, we hope that you got a little bit of something to take away from our talk today. And Lincoln, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. You have a comment or one more question?
One last thought I'd like to leave with everybody.
Okay.
You are the star in the movie of your life. Make every day an Oscar-winning performance. You are the star in the movie of your life. Make every day an Oscar-winning performance. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Lincoln. And with that, we will sign off and wish you a fond day, and Lincoln, a blessed day to you as well. Thanks for sharing and thanks for joining us today.
You're very welcome. This was fun.
All right.